Kevin Tomlinson seemed destined to wind up in the driver's seat of a big rig, jamming gears and hauling cattle somewhere on the Illinois interstate. Somehow, with his father and grandfather both once successful owner-operators, he didn't answer the phone when the road came calling. Kevin was introduced to trucking before he could walk, thanks to Johnson Brothers Transportation. That's a company that was co-founded by his grandfather that specialized in flatbed and cattle hauling. When Kevin's dad took over as a driver, that business quickly took root as a family business. That's where he met Kevin's mother. What's everybody's favorite part of a career retrospective? That's right, baby pictures. Hold on, Kevin, here they come. Growing up surrounded by trucks, Kevin was usually available and a steady hand to his father and grandfather, but his real passions lie, as he put it, in getting dirty. The only son of a family full of daughters, Kevin looked to tinkering as a way to stay busy. He didn't have any video games. Working on farm equipment, the cars of friends and family, and anything else he could break, his talents began to grow. Growing up in a family of truckers, Kevin was wary of a life on the road. He knew home time wasn't going to be exactly what he was looking for, but he was really drawn to fixing trucks. He finally made his break in the industry in 1979, right out of Wyotech's 6-month technician program, a program where he says he achieved perfect attendance. First off, we'd like to offer Kevin, on behalf of CCJ, a hearty congratulations for that perfect attendance 37 years ago. Great job, Kevin. But in all seriousness, perfect attendance in a program like that is fairly important, and Kevin even told me that the expectations of that course were basically what you could expect to see when you actually got a job. That if you were late for class, that meant you were probably going to be late for work. If you didn't give a lot of effort actually in the class, you probably weren't going to get a lot of effort in work. A good student generally becomes a good employee, and I think it's fairly obvious that Kevin took that level of effort that he gave Wyotech, and he's given it to and put it into his career. Wyotech certification in hand, Kevin joined Cummins' Rock Island, Illinois facility, where he worked in service and did some engine rebuilding. But his career was put on pause about 18 months later when an economic downturn forced company-wide layoffs. With time on his hands, Kevin looked to farming briefly, but in February of 1981, Kevin latched on with Munson Transportation, a job that would really change his life. Originally hired as a wrench on night shift, as he put it, he spent the next 7 years working his way up Munson's management structure. In 1988, he was asked to relocate to Woodville, Ohio, where the company was looking to install a terminal. As he went about to build his team in Woodville, he met and eventually hired a guy named John Satterfield. John was hired to be a mechanic at the new facility. An informal after-work introduction to John's sister, Beth, meant that Kevin's move to Woodville was about to become permanent.
I grew up around trucks myself. My dad drove truck most of my life. My grandparents owned Mack dealerships. I worked there when I was younger. So I really do understand what trucking is and what it takes to make trucks go. And there have been times it's been a struggle for me because I want my husband home and I wanted to do something with him. But I also understand that this is a passion of my husband's. And so, you take the good with the bad and you just kind of roll with the punches. And, I wouldn't want Kevin to be any other way than what he is, because if he didn't do the job he did, he wouldn't be Kevin. And, and he bleeds diesel fuel. He just was raised, his grandfather had a trucking company, his dad had some trucks. Kevin just bleeds diesel fuel, and so it's just something that is so part of who he is. It can't be any other way.
When Munson Transportation was sold to Heartland in 1994, and with changes in the air, Kevin moved on to Detroit Diesel back in their pre-Freightliner days. He wasn't a good fit for the OE side of the business, he says. He didn't like billing drivers. He said they were already struggling to make ends meet, and he didn't like handing them a bill. Kevin said he also wasn't very fond of sales, but I can tell you he's really good at it. I had dinner with Kevin and his wife Beth several weeks ago in Ohio, and a sweeter, nicer woman you'll never meet. Convincing her to marry him was probably his best sales pitch to date.
I'm humbled that I get to be with him through this journey. We've been together for 27 years, and there's been some ups and there's been some very, very bad downs, but we've weathered it all. And through it all, I know that my husband is a man of integrity and honor, and just knowing that he's appreciated for what he does in the industry makes my heart melt. And he's a wonderful father. We have 4 children. We have 12 grandchildren and we have 5 great-grandchildren. And he is the go-to for our entire family. When something needs to be fixed or done, he's the one that they run to. And I am thankful that I get to share this with him and just call him mine.
Today, and for the past 10 years, Kevin, a self-professed Cummins guy, serves as Director of Maintenance for Sandusky, Ohio-based South Shore Transport, where he oversees the upkeep of 160 trucks and roughly 400 trailers. All he hands the company's roughly 300 drivers now are paperwork and keys to the trucks.
It's been a pleasure working with Kevin. I've been in the business 35 years, and one of the best I've worked with as far as a fleet manager goes. The trucks are running. We don't have a ton of maintenance issues, very few breakdowns, very few driver complaints about equipment, just the whole package. He can communicate with anybody. Drivers that are a challenge, he gets them calmed down, puts them at ease. Communicates very well with our corporate office, with all the vendors, suppliers. We never want for anything.
Almost 40 years in the same industry can take a toll on anyone, but for all the bumps, bruises, and bloody knuckles, Kevin has left a lasting impression in his wake. He's built a lot of relationships in this industry over the last almost 40 years, and just like friends do, they like to rib each other.
I don't always talk about Kevin Tomlinson, but when I do, oil pressure always comes to mind. This thing's supposed to go in there somewhere?
No, I think these things go in there somehow. We probably ought to call Kevin. He's the one that's the expert on the oil pressure.
He is the
Remember?
expert.
Yeah, working on the coaster. Remember that back up there in, where were we at?
Somewhere in Michigan.
Some bay or something.
Wait a minute, he couldn't get oil pressure that day.
No, he couldn't.
We spent all day doing that.
Yeah, we did.
We even had tire pressure gauge on that thing.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
He needs some Marley oil. That would have worked.
Well, that might fix this too. I don't know.
Or maybe be a Chevy, not a Ford.
I think if we drank a little bit more of that, we'd be in better shape.
He drank a lot of that.
He does.
He loves that
Kevin
shit.
loves that stuff. That's for sure.
That's disgusting.
A guy that works as hard as Kevin does also likes to play. Well, Kevin found himself an older boat that he was determined to fix up. Well, Mike Jeffress and Steph Sabo, they didn't really think he could do it. But Kevin proved him wrong. Check this out.
Okay guys, see me right here in the boat. See the boat? You might have said it never could be done, but as you can hear that water running outside there, just hold on a minute. See, us old guys, we still can figure out how to make them run.
Now that's how you tell your friends, I told you so, in 2016. Good job, Kevin. All right, now let's wrap this presentation up.
Kevin, we want to say congratulations on being this year's CCJ recipient. We're very proud of you. I know Steph and I have been talking about it over the last 24 hours and reminiscing about all the things that you've accomplished so far in your career and expectations that we got for you on the future accomplishments for sure. So a couple of them we were talking about last night, the Ohio State Trucking Association.
He's very active in that, very active.
Helps them put together the tech program up there, technician competition. So,
And all the technician competitions that are all in the Midwest. I know he's been helping Greg Shipman a lot in Illinois, getting Illinois set up, Indiana set up.
Yep.
I think he's been involved a little bit in other states also.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So, the other thing I think I've always prided myself telling other people about regarding your participation in the local vocational college and going in and committing your personal time to training young kids and stuff. What class is he teaching? Drive lines, I think.
Drive lines.
If I'm not mistaken. So we're really proud of what you're doing on that aspect of it as well. So
He keeps us in straight on the church mode also.
that's right. That's right.
He's very active in his church up there in Executive with him and Beth.
Yep.
They're in a choir,
Yep.
or in a Chuck choir.
Yeah, they do a few duos, I understand, or duets, I think is what they call it
Duets.
in the choir. So that's pretty cool too. So
He's an all-around excellent individual.
Sure.
More than worthy for this award.
You bet. You bet. So congratulations, Kevin.
Kevin has been involved with the Technology Maintenance Council for about 18 years, having served as vice chair for S1 Study Group and chairman of S12. He's been on the TMC board for 6 years, including serving as chairman, and was a 2009 Silver Spark Plug Award winner. To that list, tonight, he can add Career Leadership Award recipient.